this day and age, we're not going to fight this spiritual war with words and anger and hate and fear and bombs and guns and bioweapons and all these things, guys. We're not going to win this war this way. Hey guys, Jessica here from the Healing Hands Duo. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not even dressed. Happy Easter to everyone today. I just quickly wanted to jump on here and go over a few things. I'm having a very difficult time with this time right now because I actually am stuck between two worlds, as I'm sure many of you guys feel this way right now. I'm stuck between the world of truth and the world of delusion. And the reason why I say that is because at the deepest core, I think there is a truth that that needs to be told to everyone. And everything that is circulating or in circulation on the internet right now, I do kind of go back and forth on what is true. However, most of the things that I have seen is stuff that I've been looking into for probably since I was in my mid-teen years, actually, to be honest. And as you guys know, I'm sure many of you guys know what my take is on various different things in the world. All you have to do is go to my YouTube channel and you would see that Kevin and I have been talking about a lot of this stuff. However, we were very complacent to what we would talk about on YouTube, even starting 2 years ago. But I do want people to know that this didn't start for us 2 years ago. Like I said, most of this stuff we had been looking into for 13 years. And that goes into stuff with the deep state and QAnon and other stuff that's going on out there. And the very essence and reason why all of this exists, or going back as far into the cabal and all that, and what they are responsible for and what they have done across this planet for hundreds of years. I think a lot of people think that this movement that's happening right now and this situation that's happening right now is all about this virus. It's not about this virus. It never was about this virus. It's about something so much larger than that and so much larger than all of us. The problem that I'm having right now is that I've been very, very, very selective about what I will share on any of my business pages as well as on my Facebook page, because what I want people to also realize is that this plane is one of a technological plane, and the technological plane and the plane of information is a plane that is owned by them. And by them, I'm just going to say evil entities. Let's just call them that. So everything that we are seeing right now, we have to realize that the media is also owned by them, is that they're only allowing us to see what they want us to see and what will create more fear. So while I think there is a lot of truth bombs being released right now, because that is what the world needed in order for us to make this shift and go through this energetic shift, I have been very selective about what I share, because not that I don't think a lot of this stuff that's going around is the truth. I truly believe this and feel this in my heart that this is to be true. But I also want to put out there that, again, we are a lot more powerful than they want us to believe. If you think you're going to get a virus and you're going to die of a virus, you've already put that into your psyche and your mentality that you're going to die when you get this virus. And honestly, the power of suggestion and the power of the mind is so much more powerful than any of us could have ever imagined. And I don't think, unless you've been working from this plane or working with holistic healers or working on the mind or through meditation or prayer or any of that stuff, this would be very difficult for people to understand right now. And it's not my place to tell you what to practice every day. But what I am going to do is I'm going to say to you guys that we're treading a very fine line right now between being free, or what we thought it meant to be free, and being completely enslaved beyond our personal beliefs of what could even happen to humanity at this point. I personally think we're coming out of a time where we were slaves, and many people didn't know it. And I think the time that we are seeing right now and what's happening through this energetic transition that's happening throughout the entire planet right now is a time for truth, to show us that what we just came out of was not a time of happiness and love and, light. And, the world that we left behind actually was very, very dark. And I know this is difficult because in order to get there, the only way we were going to see that the world that we left behind was dark was to actually allow all these truths to come to the forefront, which is what a lot of people are going to see now. And even the stuff that's being shared right now, I do want to put it out there. I think this is going to get a lot more dark in the weeks to come. So I do kind of want to put that out to a warning out to everyone that knows exactly what I'm talking about, so that some of us can stand in our spiritual space and ground ourselves to help the collective consciousness deal with what is to come, especially with some of the stuff that's going to be revealed. Again, there's a lot of politics involved in this, but it even goes far beyond just the politics, guys, because these are secret societies that have had control over our humanity for potentially thousands of years. And I've mentioned this in a previous video without saying too much, because it is not my place to tell you what to believe or what not to believe. You'll have to seek out those truths for yourselves. My point, though, to this whole entire video is to not get trapped in so many of the details at this point. There are just so many things to learn here in the next couple of weeks. And I think there needs to be a proper, healthy balance between the two. And what I'm seeing now is that I'm getting a lot of information constantly. I have people from all around the world, because of my channel, sending me stuff all day long. And it's government stuff. It's, it's stuff that people will classify as conspiracy stuff from doctors that are reaching out, asking for help, first care responders who are asking for help, saying that there's something here, we're not being told the truth. And I know I feel so badly because I haven't been sharing all of the stuff that has been brought into my awareness, not in the last couple of weeks, but the stuff that I've known for many, many, many years. I'm talking like going back as far back as like 13 and 14 years old, which is when I decided that I no longer wanted to vaccinate myself. It goes as far back as that. And I'm 40 years old. I'm almost 40 years old now. So the reason why I chose not to share some of this information is because I realize now that this information may not be helpful for everyone. And I can't really tell you why just yet. But one of the reasons why that I can mention now is because the world does not need more fear right now, because it is fear that these entities feed off of, and being stuck in that place of fear is where they can control you. I understand why there's a lot of revolutionists out there right now trying to tell you all these truths. Please open your eyes and stay awake right now and make sure that you are seeking out the truth, but at the same time, you need to go inward at least for even a couple of minutes every day, or a few times a day at this point. That's the only place where you're going to actually find the truth. As much as it is important to pay attention to what is going on and to collect as much information as possible, and of course, siphon through all of the stuff that's out there yourself and come to your own conclusions. Don't let anybody sway your decision either way. What you need to do is really collect all of this information right now and come to your own truth. And you need to actually maybe stick with those or look at the stuff that resonates with you. I know right now there's a lot of stuff that makes people feel like they're on a seesaw, where they're just going back and forth with believing that this is the full truth and believing that this is the full truth. And that is going to continue on. And there is no mistake about that. It is something that has been very calculated for a very, very, very long time. And the idea is to create as much confusion and fear as possible so that more and more people will get lost, is the only way that I can describe it right now. So what I'm going to propose here to you guys is that while you seek out this truth and you go further into that, and it depends on how much of this you want to get into, I could share some of that stuff or some of those places where I have collected my information over the years. And I'm not just talking about recently, I'm talking about stuff that goes very far back. But I can't really just come out and share that stuff with people who don't ask me for that information or who are not really ready or willing to hear that information. So that's why I haven't shared all of the stuff that has been sent my way. However, on the flip side of this, the other reason why I haven't shared everything either is because as much as people think that this is an event that is absolutely terrible and it's super dark and we have to put a stop to this and we have to go out and we have to burn certain things and towers and we have to go out there and we have to use our voices, we have to be very vocal, or we have to start these things like people are out there marching and doing various things, because this is happening now, guys. There are people out there, it's just not being televised. There are people out there that are fighting for our civil liberties. I also think that this was also part of the plan, and this is not part of their plan. This is also part of the divine plan. And what I mean by that is that I said this in the previous video very briefly, but I think in order to understand what is happening and why this would even be presented as a virus is we need to actually understand viruses themselves, and that viruses are not living things. Viruses are nothing more than DNA and RNA. And viruses live within us, or not live, but viruses reside within our cells naturally. It's like 8% of our genome is actually made up of viruses. So when you're seeing people out there saying that you can't catch a virus, but you can activate a virus, there's a lot of truth to that. Again, I'm not going to get into that too much in this video. So there are things in our environment, and again, you have to remember that these things don't necessarily mean that they have to be very physical. There are things in the physical, mental, and emotional plane that can actually transform and activate different vibrations and energies and physical electricity throughout our body. Because you have to remember that everything that you think, you hear, you feel, you smell becomes a part of who you are and how you will react to your outside environment. This is another reason why I'm a big proponent for prayer and meditation, because this is a place where you go and you sit and you do nothing. You try not to think about anything. You try not to feel anything. And I'm not saying you shouldn't feel anything, you shouldn't think anything, but that you just sit in silence and you listen without having so much outside chatter to sway your decision one way or another, which is why I think it is so important to be doing these things on a daily basis right now. So with that said, I don't want this video to be too long, and maybe down below I will post to a few videos that will allow people to remain optimistic while giving you some truths. And if you decide you want to go deeper into this rabbit hole, that is entirely up to you guys. But what I'm going to propose at this point, I am working with my energy healer. There are two of them that I've been working with since 2016, and they have really opened my eyes, not to this stuff per se, but they've really opened my eyes to my heart up to my spirituality and working past my own inner demons. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to stress this, that there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but remember, you are the creator of your world. We are the creators of this world. It's not that we manifested this terrible outcome, but in so many ways we all contributed to this world in one way or another, and where we are now, we helped to create this world. So the things that we're seeing now is that some of these things that people are seeing is that if you really believe in the laws of attraction and the laws of oneness, we are all part of each other. So at one point, this kind of gets into karma, and this kind of gets into reincarnation, and this kind of gets into us living out on various different planes and various different scenarios in our life. So at the same time, what a lot of people are going to be experiencing here in the next couple of weeks is what a lot of spiritual people or a lot of light workers call the dark night of the soul, which means a lot of our inner demons are going to come to the forefront, and you need to have strength in order to handle that. You need to have strength in order to go through these vibrational shifts and transitions. Again, guys, if this resonates with you, it resonates with you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't know how to explain it any other way at this point. So again, if you choose not to watch this, I understand. And if you choose to, then that's great. But what I would say at this point is that we need to put aside our physical our physical differences in our physical appearances and our belief systems. This is the only way we are going to come together to realize that we are one and that we need to bind together now and be loving towards one another. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your social status is. I don't care about your economic status, and I don't care. We need to put aside all of those differences right now to come together and act as one, because if we're going to get through this, this is the only way we are going to survive this situation. And I'm not talking about just this virus. I'm talking beyond this virus and what comes next. So guys, what I'm going to propose to all of you guys is that I'm working with one of my energy healers right now. And what we're thinking about doing on my channel per se, because she does this alone. We have a very intimate small group, but this group is some of us that have been working together for many years. So that is something that we're probably going to continue to do just to hold the space for everyone else. But what we wanted to offer potentially is to just come together. And it won't be a physical video or anything like that. It won't be you and I, like me and her talking to each other, or even doing a guided meditation or anything like that. What we might be calling these, or what she's been calling them in the past, they're called energy baths. And all it is that, you know, I will be there, she will be there, and plenty of other healers and light workers that hold and have that hold a high vibration already, and people who have been doing this for decades. So they are very experienced. Again, unless you've been doing this for years, this stuff does take practice and focus and learning how to use these energies and stuff like that to go into meditation, mantra, and prayer. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Energy is energy. And you know, if you believe in God or the divine or the universe or whatever it is, whatever God you preach to or whatnot, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. So all we are going to potentially offer here, and I'm working out the fine details right now so that this can be on my channel maybe once a week, is that once a week for say 15 to 20 minutes, all it's going to be is there's going to be a video that maybe goes up on my channel. It may even be the same video. It might be a static screen of just directions on what you're to do. We're just hoping to come together. I don't know how many people this is going to bring together. I'm hoping eventually it'll catch on and it'll be a few of us at first, and then maybe possibly hundreds or thousands or whatever it is. I just think that there needs to be collections and collective places and communities where people go and they decide to make a conscious effort every week. I would really hope that you guys are doing this every day, but every week to stop. Shut Facebook down, shut Instagram down, shut all of these socials down that we have no control over. And that's another thing that I want to talk to a lot of people about. We need to create our own communities. We need to create our own social networks where we can spread the truth without all of the censorship. So there are a few of them out there just off the top of my mind. I've heard people talk about something called Dive. You need to download something called DuckDuckGo so that you're not using Google. You need to go over to Band, I think it's called Band TV, and that's apart from other things like YouTube and stuff like that. And then there's even one that's called BitChute. These are all individual platforms that are owned and run by the people. So if this is where you want to seek out truth, these are the things that you guys should probably be signing into. And again, to keep our privacy, because I'm sorry, I like my privacy. I don't need people tapping into my phone and all that stuff too. Then you guys might want to download individual apps and stuff like that that protect your privacy. One that comes to mind is something called Signal. That was just told to me the other day. So these are just things that you guys should look into. But what I was saying before is I'm going to work out all the fine details with my energy healer, and I'm hoping that she and I can come together and start off with a small community, and then you guys share this with your communities and they share it with their communities, so that we can just have a sacred space where we come at least once a week and we bind together and create an energy field that hopefully will start to glow and will start to resonate at a high vibration with more power, so that we can take our power back. So as you can see, I am really stuck between two worlds of my spirituality and the revolutionist in me that wants to go out there and fight this war. But I also realize my revolutionist in me that wants to go out and fight this war is going to need the energy and the power and the will and the love to go out and fight this war properly, which in this day and age, we're not going to fight this spiritual war with words and anger and hate and fear and bombs and guns and bioweapons and all these things, guys. We're not going to win this war this way. That's all I wanted to say today, guys. Again, I want to wish you all a happy Easter. I want to put it out there that I have all of you in my heart, and I am trying my best to keep up my vibration and my energy so that I don't fall into this trap of fear like so many people out there right now. I need to keep my sanity as well, so I am going to try to actually collectively make the decision right now with a few other people to maybe shut this stuff off after a certain time every day, so that we can just I can sit personally, just myself, so that I take that break that is needed in order to build up my strength for what is to come. Okay, guys, and none of this is to scare you. This is just to make you aware, and this is to make you force yourself in a way, not me force you or anybody else, to take the time for you to sit down and yes, go through these truths, but to realize that rest and relaxation and meditation and going inward and listening to nothing is super important as well. Okay, guys, I love you guys so much. Again, happy Easter, and I wish you all well, and I send you all love and light. Bye-bye.